Welcome to Good News Baptist Church here in Kaunas, Lithuania. We are in the church with FIM missionaries Gediminas and Joana Laskauskas, and it's been a great honor to be here. We met the pastor of the church as well, Pastor Arturas, and here with a wonderful group of believers. But the Lord is a great ministry and a real need here in Lithuania. I wonder if, Geddy, you could tell us about how severe the need is. I mean, we're in a beautiful country, beautiful weather, it's cold. Modern country, every convenience, industrial, up-to-date country, and the economy is really good and all of those things. But the church is almost non-existent in Lithuania, making it really an unreached people group without any question. What's the status of the Christian church in Lithuania?
Yeah, so as we checked, there is just 0.2% of evangelicals in Lithuania, and we have just 1,000 people who are professed believers in Lithuania out of 3 million people that we have in our country. So the need is big, and the climate in Lithuania, the Christian climate is more like people are Catholics, and we have, I think, 75% of all the population who says that they're Catholics, but actually just 40% of people believe that some kind of God exists. So people are Catholics, but they don't even believe that God exists. So most of the people, they go to the Catholic Church just twice a year. They go for Christmas Eve service, and then Easter, and that's it. Our church, Good News Baptist Church, is one of the biggest in Lithuania, so we have about 70 people in attendance. And Kaunas, it's a city of 350,000 people, and we have 3 Baptist churches, which is kind of the same size of ours a little bit.
No Bible church, no Plymouth, no Brethren Church, no Calvary Chapel. 3 churches, and Good News Baptist is the largest, and the others are very small. Even in Vilnius, which is much larger, 2 million people, I think you said there are...
No, Vilnius is about half a million.
Oh, half a million people, so larger than Kaunas. And how many churches in Vilnius?
Probably
3 or 4.
3, 4, 5, just smaller churches. Big need.
So there's a need for an evangelical church. There's a need to be a model for other churches because there are believers that are getting saved. I mean, here, we were in church Sunday. It's a young congregation. There's families, there's kids, there's teenagers. It's very exciting.
Young church.
So how are those young people coming to here, like young families? What is it that invites them and draws them in?
That's a good question. I think that most of the families, most of the people, they just grew up in the church. And maybe they move from different city where they have a small church. They come here to study, and then they stay in the city and they come to our church. Why young families stay in this church? I don't know. It's just like a young church, many kids.
I think most young people are hungry for the Bible, and they can't find it anywhere else. Yeah, and like you said, most people did grow up in the church, but that's about as many people as there are in the church. Like the churches were started after independence in Lithuania, so 30 years ago. Before that, there was no church, and whoever got saved there and grew up, that's who they are.
And also why you see almost young people in our church or elderly ladies, because in Lithuania it's really big on the prosperity gospel and false teaching. And 2 years ago, in 2018, our church experienced a split where 50 plus people, men and women, they just left our church to charismatic movement. And that's why it's interesting that young families, young people stayed. We want the Bible. And those who have to be those older ones, those who have to be an example for us, they just left. So that's really interesting dynamic. So our church was kind of restarted. And now we start from the beginning. So we are those who have to grow up now and become those older examples.
So, Geddy, tell me again the strategies that you believe God has laid on your heart and the heart of the leadership here to become, first of all, a strong, healthy church here in Kaunas, but also a model church for other struggling churches that are looking to grow or looking to reach the community here in Lithuania with the gospel.
Yeah, so our strategy is to teach, disciple, and equip a new generation of church leaders in Lithuania. So how we do that, it's teaching, more like a formal teaching, expositional preaching. I'm going for the book of Colossians, just like really basic book where we are focusing on Christ now and living for Christ. And we are planning to continue this expositional preaching verse by verse in this church. So I think it's the main thing with what I do, and just preach the word and see what God is going to do. A disciple, so Lithuania is really based on relationships, on personal relationships. We always have people in our homes. We invite families, single people we invite groups from the church to our home. So our home is always filled with people. So it's like personal discipleship. And I disciple a few younger guys that we are reading books together, and I just pour everything that I have that God gave me. I just pour into those young guys and just one-on-one discipleship and also equipping. So we want everything we do with the pastor in this church, everything we do, we want to write it down. And we have to have a system why we are doing, how we are doing this, that we can pass it to the future generations. If someone wants to be a leader, we want to say, okay, this is how we are doing it. It's just, we want to teach you how to do this. So it's a whole process from teaching the word, then discipleship at home, personal discipleship, and then equipping that other leaders can serve.
3 words: teach,
disciple, and equip.
Equip. That's biblical. That is a great strategy. It's simple. Yeah. And the Lord can really use that. And you're using what you received in your ministry training. So that was Word of Life in Hungary.
Yes,
right?
2 years there.
2 years. And then where did the Lord lead you to get further theological training and ministry preparation?
So after 2 years in the Word of Life, we went to Appalachian Bible College in West Virginia. And we spent there 4 years, and we graduate from our undergrad in theology and then our grad in theology, both of us. So we both have the master's in ministry degrees, and after that, God led us to the internship in Belcroft Bible Church in Maryland, and there we spent 1.5 years under the teaching and discipleship of Pastor Matt White, where he just poured and showed us how you do ministry, how you teach, disciple, and equip people in your church, how you raise elders. We came back and we really saw this model, and now we see how we can implement that here.
So the Lord's given you many friends
Yes.
Around the world: Hungary, U.S., here Lithuania, and even in the U.S. you met other international friends, and applying that here. How can those who are listening, friends around the world, how can we pray for Lithuania, and how can we encourage the believers here at Good News Baptist Church in Kaunas, Lithuania?
Yeah, so I think the best prayer that you can pray, it comes from Colossians chapter 4, verses 2 and 4, where when Paul is asking the church in Colossae to pray for open doors, that God would open doors for the ministry. Even Paul was in the prison, but he says God open doors for the ministry and that open hearts to receive your gospel. And then the second part of his prayer is that he's asking Colossians to pray that Paul would be brave to proclaim the gospel. So I think that you could pray that God would open the doors, God would open the hearts of the people, and when he does, that God would give us the strength and courage to proclaim the gospel to the people.
Joana, it's a young church. There's lots of families. What's your role in helping and modeling for young Christian moms?
Yes, we do have a lot of young families here in church, and just like Gedi has opportunities for personal discipleship, I'm as well doing that with several ladies, and I'm starting some biblical counseling with some of the ladies who are struggling with anything. So we're just trying to equip the parents to be godly parents and raise their kids in the righteousness of the Lord the best we can. So, and God opened those opportunities to do that. We're grateful.
And that creates a powerful contrast for people in a culture where the family is falling apart, where marriages are under stress, where families are confused, where kids are in school and they're confused about all kinds of very basic things about life and love and family and what that means. And here you have intact, whole families experiencing love and forgiveness and unity and joy and camping. You guys do camping with your church, and wow, that's really exciting. So it is a wonderful opportunity. Please pray for Gedi and Joana Laskauskas here in Kaunas, Lithuania, one of the least evangelized countries in Europe because of its connection and former part of the communist government, and atheism was very, very strong here for decades. And so the church is literally in its infancy. And here's one church, strong and established and growing and with a strategy to reach the community, to become a healthier church, but also a healthy church that can influence other churches to reach Lithuania with the gospel. You can reach Gedi and Joana on our website, www.fim.org, and communicate with them directly if you'd like more information about their ministry. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.